Aloha, everyone. Today is July 8th, 2016, and I'm going to pick up the subject again about CERN, the Hadron Collider, which I have written about previously with some Thoth transmissions on it. And I'm going to be putting links to those articles below my embed on Tribe-Light about this. So I won't go into the details of that. He's basically, the other transmissions were dealing, or the main one was dealing with understanding what energy fields were at work and how things might be, just that they will be changing from what the directional plan of the Hadron Collider work is doing to something else. And he's very mysterious about this. He doesn't give me a lot of information. I get the feeling that I get when there is information that might be harmful to me to know, even know, much less put out there. So he keeps me away from that, any kind of details that might upset those in charge. So I don't do that. And the things I am talking about are so far out, they would go, oh, nobody will believe that anyway. So we'll just leave it at that. But I did want to talk about some things today that reference how this system works a little more specifically with the cosmic law and a few other things. So let's get started here. I would like to begin with this video. This was some film that was shot above where the CERN collider is in Geneva, Switzerland, on December 2015. I'm going to make it big this time so you can really see it. Oops, I have the sound on. I'm just going to turn that off so it won't disturb us, because there's nothing really relevant on the sound other than people saying, oh my gosh. But you can see that there's a portal opening here. And watch the spaceship flying up into it, the Merkaba. You can see it go right up and into the portal. And then it disappears. Now you could say, oh, this may be photoshopped or, CGI or whatever. But no, I truly don't believe that's the case. From my insights, this is a genuine film. We'll watch it again because this replays it one more time so you can really see what's happening here. Okay. I found this on the web, Time, Distortion, and Stargates. It has been suggested that by colliding heavier subatomic particles, such as lead ions, which CERN will soon be doing, space and time could be distorted, creating what Einstein called a Rosen bridge, or Stargate, which is basically a wormhole between two different locations, dimensions, or periods of time. It has also been suggested that such distortions in the space-time continuum could lead to what has been referred to as the Groundhog Day effect, in which time folds back on itself, allowing manipulation of the past. Well, all this is valid from my Thothic perspective, that this, are possibilities. And indeed, he says that they're really far along on the whole project than people know. So they've already been working with a lot of this. They're not really trying to discover anything so much. I mean, certainly there are things they're discovering, but that's not their main goal. According to my receipt from Thoth, their main goal is to work with these particular extraterrestrials that the One World Legion is working with. In other words, it's a chain of command to create a system here on Earth that will benefit these particular alien beings. I don't usually, get into all of this kind of ghoulish side of the alien stuff. It's there, but it's largely, in so many ways, it has been distorted and exaggerated, calling the Queen of England Lizzie and all of this stuff. So I just try to stay away from it in general, but it's necessary at this moment to make that statement, I believe, if I'm going to follow my line of discussion here about it, or talk about it. So the bottom line of what they're doing is they're following orders. They're following instructions to create something. Now, all the people that are working on this project don't know that, obviously, but the ones that are calling the shots do. However, there's always a silver lining. At least that's my train of thought. And Thoth is saying the silver lining is that this whole project is being allowed to take place by the ultra ones, the guiding forces, the architects of this universal spectrum. I don't want to use the word architect because that's associated with the bad guys. So I'm going to call it something else. Let's see, what can I say? The initiators. That's not right either, because this holographic field is not initiated by these beings or spiritual entities and angelics. It is being hosted by certain higher elementation of a subtle dynamic, and it is being guardianed and facilitated by luminaries and higher spiritual entities. As I've said before, the universal holograms are not created inside some kind of big computer like people are beginning to theorize now. That's not what Thoth says. There's no beings creating the hologram of the universe. It is a natural function of something beyond anything we can comprehend, or at least I can comprehend at this time, so I'm not getting anything about it. But this is what I am getting, is that it is a spiritually divine expression of source. And that source is not some computer made by some other source. It's not working that way. So what it is, we can put a big question mark there. But I believe the question mark is shining with bright light and not, dark and scary. But that kind of gets us away from our topic here. Let me get back to it. And that is, recently, just in the last Queen of the Sun, Part 4, Thoth gave me some information that I'd not heard before, not specifically the way it was presented to me this time. And that is that our holographic universe is a child of what I've known about for many years, the Nutri Universe, or he also calls it the Atosic Universe. And there are many children, I don't know how many, of this particular Nutri Universe. So let's take a look at the way it lays out. We have the universe we're in. This is the one that we are like, let's call it the wow universe. Be in the now and experience the wow. So we are in our wow universe right here, Everything is bright and sunny, and we got some scary stuff too, but it's more or less stable, and we can figure things out, and we've got math and science to tell us what's this and what's that. So that's that universe. And then we have the flip side. And the flip side is like a negative photography plate. It's not negative like bad. It's just a reverse side. And that's where antimatter dwells, and all of this dark matter and stuff that people can't understand and that don't obey the laws of physics and science as we understand them. And that it is, kind of like a chaotic realm of undefinable experience. So that's the, what does he call it? Let's see, there's the neutral, well, this is the positive plus as in an energy universe, and the negative as in minus energy universe. I don't know what to call it. Let's call it the black box. Okay, so we've got the wow universe and we've got the black box. And in between, we have the Nutri Universe. I say in between. Of course, none of this is spatial, but we're going to look at it that way. And the Nutri Universe is the mother. It's the mother or the command center of the black box and the wow universe. Now, the wow universe is just one of many universes out there that has a wow and a black box, a wow and a black box, and a wow and a black box. But they're all attached to this one Nutri Universe. Now, I imagine there's other systems out there like this, another Nutri Universe with another bunch of children and whatever. We can go ad infinitum maybe, I don't know. But we're talking about ours right here and now. So we have the Nutra and we have the children, and each of these children has a wow and a black box. Now, we're getting back to this whole CERN picture, but this kind of has to unfold. So initially what CERN is doing is they're tampering with the black box. And the scientists that are on the surface involved with this, yeah, they want to figure out how this doggone black box works. And what can we do to, get some understanding so maybe we can get free energy and we can do this and we can do that. Well, of course, free energy is already available, but the powers that be will not allow us to have it. But the little scientists that are working on the surface, the little worker ants, don't know about that. So they're being told, we're going to do all these good things with this energy, but we have to find out how it works first. And that's what they're doing. What's really going on, and the ultra-secret part of the project, is to restructure the entire Earth grid and the portals thereof to face match with what this particular alien group, and I would definitely call them the bad guys. Thoth doesn't say bad and good, but I would call them the bad guys, want to create on this planet and have been working toward for some time. However, there was a new insertion recently that allowed this to step up with, I say recently, as the crow flies through time, allowed them to step this whole thing up in the 60s or whatever with the CERN project. As scary and as horrible as that sounds, we have to realize what Thoth is telling us. That is a completely separate compartment of the hologram of Earth. In other words, it's this little ball of energy, of experience that's sitting there in the center of the rest of it, or maybe not the center, off to the side. And as scary as it seems, all of this negative stuff that's very cosmic out there negative is an insertion into our stream. It is not a natural product of the evolution of the planetary consciousness. Now, we can feed it, we can make it grow, and we can manipulate it or warp it or change it some, but it is its own little package that has been, in a way, you could say it's been artificially inserted into this timeline and into this reality spectrum. So it's like a little virus that somebody just put down in there. It didn't grow naturally. Now the ultra beings and the whole light working system that is guiding us. Remember I was saying from the original hologram of our creation stage down into the envelope of guidance and facilitation. Those beings have no intention of allowing this little molecule or virus to do what it intends to do. Now, the only reason it's gotten this far is because this planet is kind of duh. We've we've kind of like, okay, let's see what this is. Let's play with this a while, and we make these things worse because we feed them. Even those of us that are going, oh no, we don't want CERN. We know what a bad thing that is. No, 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 we don't want this. If there's a fear energy around it and a real make wrong, evil, bad, and we have all these fundamentalist Christians now. If you Google this CERN thing on the web, oh my God, it's like the fundamentalist Christians are just grabbing hold of this, the end days, Satan, they've got all this interplay going on with CERN. And there's some aspects of that that just a little bit true if you put it into quantum physics. But the point is, turn loose of all that stuff. You're feeding the beast. And just look at this as an insertion that is going to be taken out at the right time in the appropriate moment. But the appropriate moment's going to come sooner rather than later if we stop feeding the beast, or feeding the wrong wolf, as the saying goes. So as we work with this, we need to realize that although these things are real in our experience, we have the power to help the facilitators, the divine light facilitators, to shift our spectrum away from its earmarked zone of destruction that we are seeing in this type of elementation, this CERN, HARP, all of these things. So here's a picture that is purportedly, and I do believe it is in fact, of an immense cloud. I want to get this back a little bit so you can see it just, oops, bit better. That's kind of jumpy. Let me try it again. There we are. And this is hovering over the CERN location as well. You can see that it's no normal cloud. There's some real activity there, and this was taken in December of last year, I believe. And here's another picture of it. I'm going to bring it up so you can see it a little bit better. Whoops. In the same day and same experience. And, you could say, oh, it's just thunderstorms, but no, it's not. These are activities like the spaceship you see going into the portal. Now, from Thoth's perspective also, this whole thing with CERN, one of the reasons they aren't interfering with it more at this point in time, excuse me, I messed up my earphones probably and made a big sound, is because there is some good that can come out of this. In other words, the facilitators, the divine facilitators, let's call them that, are going to flip the coin. And so they're using the energy and the particular workings that the negatives are doing, with the CERN system to get to a point, and then the ultras are going to, the divine guardians are going to flip the coin, so to speak, and this energy and power and everything will be used for the purpose of feeding into the pyramidus radius and working the pyramidus radius matrix of over the planet that Thoth keeps talking about, and working in a positive way rather than a negative one. Now, the pyramidus radius does not have to have the energy that's coming out of CERN, but if the coin is flipped at just the right time, not only does it benefit the pyramidus radius and the whole projected evolution of that experience for us, but it quells the negative aspect of what they're trying to do with the CERN. The divine guardians, as I'm calling them, can't just wave a magic wand and make this all go away. There's a protocol here. And one of it is, once you start this energy acceleration, you can't just say, okay, poof, it's gone. You're going to have to do something with it. So they're going to flip it into the pyramidus radius and into the pyramidal streams coming out of the Bosnian pyramid and all these others, and it's going to bring it into a polarity alignment that will be beneficial, and anything that isn't will be just lifted up and taken out. But there has to be a right moment for that in the whole procedure of what they're doing in CERN. So that's kind of how it stands right now. And why am I even doing a video on this? Well, I believe we need to be informed, and informed in a positive way. Maybe some of you aren't even keeping up with CERN and all the stuff, but maybe others are watching a lot of these videos and going, oh my God. So I just want to present a positive understanding of the potential, not only the potential, but the probability of what's really going to be happening here at a certain crucial point in the whole thing, and how beautifully the divine light guardians of the planet are able to facilitate the moving of energies that were programmed for ill use on this planet into a positive dynamic. And the same thing would go for harp. We could talk about that on another video, but it's a very similar project. It's linked, essentially. And so all of these things are going to be shifted. But, they're doing some harm while they're doing what they're doing, but that harm can be reversed as well. Remember, we are leaving this planet behind in the state that it's in now, in any case, but we can't leave it in total mass destruction. We have to get it to a level of viability so that we can essentially launch from here, so to speak, in the whole Ascension project. Which brings us to the Stargate 4444 Stargate, which is what will manifest for the true light principle for the ascension of the planet as a whole. And that's another video, but it kind of brings us up to that point, like, okay, all these Stargates and everything, what's next? Well, that's really next in the formation of that. So to be continued, and I'm going to go back to my splash screen, and I'm going to end for today this video. Thank you for listening, everyone. Love you. Bye-bye.